pues someterlo ahí en la esquina delante de Khabib, que son tan chulos y arrogantes que la verdad que me encantaría ahí someterlo delante de él. Y si después quiere pasar Khabib, también le piso la cabeza con mucho gusto. Siendo lo que han dicho, se han sentado en una mesa y ¿sabe lo que han dicho? Que le den por Arman. Así que, Arman, desde aquí que te den por el culo desde miles de kilómetros y juzgarme y criticarme, pero después cuando me tienes en ese octógono te empiezas a dar cuenta de que yo no soy Jack de la Magdalena, que yo no soy Dan Hooker, que yo no soy todos esos paquetes a los que te has enfrentado anteriormente.
Ilia Topuria didn't just question Arman Tsarukyan's withdrawal, he delivered a stinging personal attack that immediately ignited the MMA community. He scoffed, implying Arman might have had to change his underwear after pulling out of their highly anticipated bout. This wasn't a tactical jab or a simple call-out. It was a direct challenge to Tsarukyan's courage and a blatant insinuation of fear, suggesting he folded under pressure. Topuria's words cut deep, painting Arman as someone who lacked the mental fortitude to step into the octagon, despite the physical tolls all fighters endure. It's a verbal knockout that sets the stage for an explosive rivalry, far beyond just fighting skill. This level of disrespect signals a new era of personal animosity in the lightweight division, daring Arman to respond with more than just words. The gauntlet has been thrown, and the implications for their future are massive.
Cuando defienda mi título en 155 libras, veremos a ver. Ya no quiero seguir haciendo predicciones acerca de nadie porque todo el mundo habla muchísimo con el teclado, todo el mundo quiere brillar, todo el mundo tiene mucha valentía, mucho coraje, pero cuando llega la hora de la verdad, no es así. Y todo el mundo sabe que es un combate que quiere verlo todo el mundo y él por alguna razón hasta ahora no lo ha aceptado y después habla demasiado. Es muy fácil hablar desde miles de kilómetros y juzgarme y criticarme, pero después cuando me tienes en ese octógono te empiezas a dar cuenta de que yo no soy Jack de la Magdalena, que yo no soy Dan Hooker, que yo no soy todos esos paquetes a los que te has enfrentado anteriormente. Yo soy algo muy diferente y cuando te ponga mi mano derecha encima vas a ver que vas a tener un sueño muy, muy largo.
Topuria didn't stop there, adopting a promoter's mindset to further dismantle Arman Tsarukyan's professional credibility. He lambasted the idea of heavily investing in a fighter who then jeopardizes a massive event. Imagine, he stressed, spending vast sums of money promoting a star, placing them prominently on a fight card, only for them to pull out for reasons that seem to Topuria less than legitimate. This betrayal of trust makes it incredibly difficult, he argued, to ever fully reinvest confidence in such an athlete again. The financial implications for a promotion are immense, and Topuria, clearly understanding the business side, used this angle to paint Arman as a high-risk, low-return investment. It's a calculated strike designed to undermine Arman's standing not just as a fighter, but as a reliable business partner in the high-stakes world of combat sport.
Is he just too good right now, or like, what would you do?
I think right now he's probably on paper the best fighter.
Yeah.
Probably pound for pound beat Ilia Makhachev. It doesn't mean it's not because you're the best that you're not gonna lose. It's not the best fighter that wins the fight. It's not the best team that wins the game. It's the team that play the best the night of the game. Same thing in fighting. People for some reason believe that fighting is different. Always the strongest man that wins. Not true. If you zig when you should have zagged, you make a mistake, boom,
Cut.
you're cut. By the way, it happened to Ilia Makhachev. If you saw his loss, he got cut. Yeah, it could happen again. I believe if he would fight that guy 10 times out of 10 times, he would probably beat him 9 times. But that one time he got clipped, and that can happen.
Adding fuel to the fire, Ilia Topuria directly addressed Arman Tsarukyan's controversial headbutt incident during a recent face-off, portraying it as a display of sheer foolishness rather than bravado. He pointed out that such an impulsive act demonstrates a severe lack of intelligence, especially concerning the immense investment and promotional efforts the UFC pours into its fighters. Topuria highlighted the catastrophic potential. A simple headbutt could cause an unnecessary cut or injury to an opponent, leading to the entire fight being called off. This careless behavior, he argued, puts millions of dollars and countless hours of promotion at risk, underscoring Arman's perceived disrespect for the business. It's a shocking disregard for the intricate ecosystem of fight promotion, showing a fighter who might be inadvertently sabotaging his own career and the efforts of those who back him.
To beat Ilia Makhachev, he's very skilled. I think you would need a guy that can match his wrestling in a way that either to counter his takedown, or if he get put down, manage to scramble back up and create distance and also fight him standing up. I think you need a guy that put pressure on him with a lot of fakes and feints. There's a guy that gave him a lot of trouble. He was from France. He was one of my training partner. If you go and check that fight online, his name was Mansour Barnoui. He was one of my best training partner when I was getting ready for fights, and he gave him a lot of trouble. And it was in Makhachev early career, but if you look at this fight, it could have gone the other way as well. It went to decision, and the way Mansour Barnoui fought Makhachev, that's the way you need to fight. A lot of pressure, create a lot of scramble, and pressure.
Catch him off.
Beyond his specific criticisms, Ilia Topuria unleashed a broader critique of the online bravado prevalent in the MMA world. He expressed profound frustration with keyboard warriors who shine with the keyboard, possessing much courage from thousands of miles away, but whose bravery evaporates when it's time for the hour of truth. Topuria sees a glaring disparity between the relentless online judging and criticism and the stark reality of stepping into the octagon. These armchair critics, he believes, are quick to judge and slow to act, lacking the true grit required in actual combat. His message is clear: talk is cheap, and real courage is demonstrated not in comment sections but when faced with an opponent in the cage. It's a powerful statement against the superficiality of online discourse, valuing authentic in-person confrontation above all.
Voy a preguntarte directamente. Toda la gente dice que tienes miedo de Arman y te tengo que preguntar por eso.
Yeah. Bueno, al final ya sabes lo que pienso sobre la opinión de los demás. Arman, bueno, es un buen luchador, ha tenido sus oportunidades en las que se ha negado a competir, ha tenido su oportunidad de pelear por el campeonato del mundo, se ha retirado del combate. Todos los luchadores hemos enfrentado dolores de espalda, dolores de brazo, de pierna, de todo, y aún así nos hemos presentado en el combate. Él por alguna razón no. Y él sabe cuál ha sido esa conversación interna. Tal vez se ha tenido que cambiar los calzones después de tomar esa decisión.
Ilia Topuria doesn't just talk, he projects an almost unshakable confidence in his own diverse skill set and his ability to finish any opponent from any position. He views himself as a complete fighter capable of adapting and dominating in any situation, promising a decisive end to anyone who faces him. His chilling declaration that once his right hand lands on you, you're going to have a very long dream is not just a threat, it's a vivid prophecy of a knockout. Opponents will be put to sleep for an extended period. This isn't mere trash talk, it's a profound self-belief in his power and precision. He believes he can unravel any challenger, regardless of their strengths, and finish them definitively. It's a chilling warning to the entire lightweight division, underscoring his conviction that he stands on a different level.
Si yo ahora te hablo como promotor, darle la oportunidad a una persona que le das una promoción tan grande, inviertes tanto dinero para promocionarlo de esa forma, ponerlo en una cartelera tan grande para que te lo juegue de esa manera, claro. Es muy complicado volver a depositarle confianza. Después ha tenido como otro combate ahora estelar en la que le ha metido un cabezazo en un careo. Es como que no demuestra mucha inteligencia, tampoco demuestra como que el cariño que le está dando la UFC en sus promociones, porque lo que no entiende es que la gente está invirtiendo dinero para promocionarlo y él con un simple cabezazo está poniendo en riesgo todo ello, porque el contrincante puede recibir un corte, un daño innecesario y el combate pudiera llegar a caerse, ¿verdad?
Topuria then drew a sharp line between himself and Islam Makhachev's previous opponents, dismissing them as mere packages that Islam has easily dispatched. He explicitly stated, "I am not Jack de la Madalena, I am not Dan Hooker, I am not all those packages you've seen before." This bold claim suggests that Topuria brings an entirely different level of challenge, a unique threat that Makhachev has yet to encounter. He positions himself as an anomaly, a fighter whose skills and mental fortitude far surpass those Islam has previously faced and conquered. This isn't just confidence, it's a direct provocative challenge, implying that Islam's reign has been built on defeating lesser opponents. Topuria is telling the world, and more importantly Islam, that a new, far more dangerous contender has arrived, ready to expose any perceived weaknesses.
I mean, I don't expect you to have any sympathy for Arman Tsarukyan, but you know, were you surprised that you could make this interim title without him in it?
No, he's boring. Don't really know anyone who wants to see Arman Tsarukyan fight. I listed so many reasons why he hasn't got this title shot in an interview the other week. Pulled out on a day's notice when he said he had a bad back, when he never. He just couldn't make weight to ruin the main event. Punched the fan walking out of the cage. Probably cost the UFC a lot more money. Nearly ruined another main event for the first fight in Qatar by headbutting Dan Hooker. Just don't be a little spoiled brat and you might end up getting in good graces.
Ilia Topuria made a truly significant claim, stating that he presents a different type of challenge that literally someone, Islam Makhachev, has been unfaced in his entire career. This isn't just a boast, it's a declaration that Topuria possesses a unique combination of skills, strategy, or perhaps even an X-factor that Islam has simply never encountered. Considering Islam's dominant run and the high level of competition he's overcome, Topuria's assertion is a bold one. It implies that Makhachev has yet to truly be tested against a fighter of his caliber, someone who can exploit angles or weaknesses that have remained hidden. This claim escalates the anticipation for a potential fight, promising a dynamic clash that could drive-in Islam's legacy, exposing him to an entirely new dimension of combat.
It's his own fault, lad. It's his own family's fault for letting him be a spoiled little baby his whole life, lad, because he's got money. You know what I mean? He thinks that he can just like pay his way out of anything. Well, nah, lad, you got told you got to work your way back to the title. And beating Dan Hooker, who can't grapple to save his life, doesn't do that. You know what I mean? But it is funny because he's left out in the cold now because Charles is fighting Max and I'm fighting Justin. And like, the next person down the rankings is Dan Hooker, who he's just beat. You know what I mean? He's going to have to rematch Gamrot or something and try and beat Gamrot. Because for now, nobody gives a flying about Arman Tsarukyan. It's not my fault Arman Tsarukyan's an absolute sausage.
It's not,
you know it's not my fault he can't control his emotions and start headbutting people at weigh-ins and pulling out the night before fights and hitting fans when he's walking out. That's not on me, that's on him. And he knows why he's not fighting for the belt. He needs to stop.
The legendary Georges St-Pierre, a figure whose opinion carries immense weight in the MMA world, offered his high praise for Islam Makhachev, unequivocally calling him the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. This endorsement from one of the sport's all-time greats is a powerful validation of Islam's skill and dominance. GSP, known for his analytical approach and deep understanding of martial arts, isn't one to give out compliments lightly. His recognition underscores Makhachev's exceptional talent, technique, and ability to consistently defeat top-tier opposition. It establishes Islam not just as a champion, but as a generational talent, setting a high bar for any contender who dares to challenge his status. This authoritative statement from GSP solidifies Makhachev's position at the pinnacle of the sport, acknowledged by one of its greatest minds.
Like Arman should have been way over Gagey, and I feel like Arman should be way over Patty, you know, but he doesn't have that hiccup. So what does he do? Does he sit out? Or does he go out there and make his case? Get another one of these top 5 guys, Arman, I say, take their head off because there's nobody there that could beat him, and keep it moving, brother. Then they can't deny you. You know, I think he has to go out there, just beat somebody else, and not even Dana White could say, no, I'm not giving this guy a title shot. After that, there's no way, you know. And the fight to see in 2026 is Arman versus Ilia. Those are the best guys at 155 pounds right now.
Despite his high praise for Islam, GSP introduced a crucial caveat, a profound insight into the unpredictable nature of fighting. Being the best doesn't automatically guarantee victory on fight night. He emphasized that the winner isn't always the most talented or dominant fighter on paper, but rather the one who performs best at that specific moment. This critical distinction highlights that talent alone isn't enough. Execution, adaptability, and mental fortitude on the actual night are paramount. A fighter could be technically superior, yet falter under pressure or make a single error that costs them the win. GSP's wisdom reminds us that in combat sports, the narrative of consistent superiority can be shattered in an instant, making every fight a unique and high-stakes challenge, regardless of perceived skill levels.
The interim belt is for those that are dealing with an illness or an injury. If we would like to show grace to an undisputed champion because he's missing matches specifically for illness or injury, and the moment Ilia informs us that he is missing matches for anything outside of the criteria, of illness or injury, that's why you strip him. That there is no precedence for an interim championship. And I had never thought of that, and I thought it was very cold. I didn't like it. I got in my car, I went back to my hotel, I'm staying by myself, and I thought about it. And I go, man, there's actually a point to that. If Ilia is missing matches, and all he's got to do is make the claim. He doesn't have to be telling the truth. A lot of guys didn't tell the truth. A lot of guys have missed fights and said they're hurt because they didn't want to make the walk.
GSP further elaborated on the inherent vulnerability within combat sports, asserting that mistakes can always happen in a fight, no matter how dominant you are. This profound observation challenges the notion of an invincible fighter, even one as dominant as Islam Makhachev. GSP believes that even the most skilled and prepared athlete can get caught with something unexpected. This perspective underscores the razor-thin margins in elite MMA, where a moment's lapse in concentration or an unforeseen strike can completely alter the outcome. It's a stark reminder that no fighter is immune to error, and that every single punch, kick, or grappling exchange carries the potential for a fight-ending sequence. This adds a layer of thrilling unpredictability to every bout, keeping fans on the edge of their seats.
But if you're making a claim outside of illness or injury, to my understanding, the person at the UFC is correct. You're not eligible. You got to be stripped. I think that is a fair point. I don't want him stripped. I'm on Ilia's side of this. I don't really like what he's going through. I think he's shared more with us than he has to. I also think he's innocent. He seems like a good guy. I really don't think that he would have done these things. However, yeah, they got to strip him. If he's not making the claim that he's injured and has some kind of a doctor report to back it up, as bogus as those can be, he's got to be stripped.
GSP didn't just speak generally. He pinpointed the exact scenario where Islam Makhachev, despite his dominance, could potentially suffer a defeat. He suggested that while Islam would likely win 8 or 9 out of 10 fights, that one critical moment where he makes a wrong move, takes a bad angle, or gets a little too confident, that's exactly how he can be beat. This detailed breakdown offers a blueprint for how a rare upset could occur, moving beyond mere chance to specific tactical vulnerabilities. It highlights the psychological aspect of fighting, where overconfidence can be as dangerous as a technical flaw. GSP's analysis suggests that Islam's greatest strength, his unwavering dominance, could also be his Achilles heel if it leads to even a momentary lapse in vigilance.
Kamaru does have the stylistic matchup to not get taken down, and then he's got a beautiful one too. And that's all it takes in the sport of mixed martial arts. Ba, ba. You know what I'm saying? And Islam has been hurt. The time that he did lose, he did get knocked out. So it's those punches that you don't see coming that could change everything. And Kamaru Usman has the speed and has the power and has the experience. But he's going up against Islam Makhachev, who is... He's good, man. He can kick. He can wrestle. He could... that's the biggest thing, bro, is... it's his defense. He's always here, and then he level changes, and he kicks, goes up. Very, very good. But you would probably favor Islam, but I would not count out the Nigerian Nightmare. If anybody could get it done, it is Kamaru Usman.
With Islam Makhachev's reign seemingly unshakable, a crucial question hangs in the air, directly challenging every aspiring contender. What would be your specific game plan to go against someone like Islam Makhachev? What would you do right now to beat him? This isn't a rhetorical question. It's a demand for tangible strategies and innovative approaches to overcome a fighter widely considered the best in the world. It pushes fighters beyond general ambitions, forcing them to articulate a concrete path to victory against a seemingly insurmountable opponent. The question highlights the immense tactical puzzle Islam presents, inviting deep analysis and daring fighters to reveal their cards, demonstrating they possess the tactical acumen necessary to dethrone such a formidable champion.
Like, you think everyone thinks Charles Oliveira is good until Islam gets on top of him, right? Charles Oliveira sucks comparably to real good grapplers. He's not even near.
He's more of a strictly jiu-jitsu guy.
You just know, like, the substance of a guy like what Islam is versus a guy like Charles.
Yeah,
you know.
Echoing GSP's sentiments, a powerful philosophy emerged. It's not necessarily the best fighter that wins the fight, but rather the team that played the best at night of the game. This profound truth extends beyond individual combat to team sports, emphasizing that momentary brilliance and peak performance in a specific instance often trump overall theoretical superiority. This means that a fighter, even if considered objectively better, can still lose if they fail to execute their game plan perfectly on that particular evening. It injects a thrilling element of unpredictability into every contest, reminding us that past accomplishments and rankings are only part of the story. The ultimate arbiter of victory is the performance delivered when it truly matters, in the heat of the moment, under the brightest light.
Who in the UFC or other promotions does this the best current time?
In the UFC, you look at Islam versus JDM. I was very impressed with Islam's feinting. There was one point, because I always say sometimes I overfeint, but that's good because they never know when it's coming. But Islam did that in his last fight with JDM. There was points he just was feinting like 12 times before he even threw a jab. This is later in the fight as well, so I was really impressed with that.
Jorge Masvidal, known for his candid assessments, offered a bold prediction. Kamaru Usman represents Islam Makhachev's absolute toughest challenge should Islam decide to move up to welterweight. This isn't just a casual opinion. Masvidal views this potential matchup as the ultimate test, a monumental hurdle for the lightweight champion. He sees Usman, a former welterweight king, as a uniquely dangerous opponent whose skill set and experience at 170 pounds would push Islam to his absolute limits. Masvidal's strong conviction elevates the potential Islam-Usman clash to a must-see event, positioning it as a pivotal moment that could either solidify Islam's cross-divisional greatness or expose vulnerabilities against a true welterweight titan. This statement ignites intense debate about Islam's future divisional ambitions.
He needs to work on his judo.
Arman
needs to work on his judo.
Really? Why?
I guarantee you guys never realized that every time Islam took Arman down, it was judo.
That's not
Islam can't take down Arman in wrestling. I guarantee you guys. Islam is a great wrestler, great judoka. Trust me, he knows judo. When I watch his clips, he can do judo very well.
But that's not his sambo background?
No, that's his judo.
Masvidal meticulously elaborated on why a move to welterweight would constitute a significant jump in competition level for Islam Makhachev, stating it's way different from lightweight. This isn't just about weight class, it's about the inherent physical and technical differences that come with facing larger, naturally heavier opponents. Masvidal implied that the skill set's power and defensive capabilities at 70 pounds are on another plane, potentially exposing Islam to challenges he hasn't yet encountered in his dominant lightweight run. The former BMF champion emphasized that moving up isn't simply a matter of gaining a few pounds, it's an entry into a tougher, more physically demanding environment where Islam's natural size could become a disadvantage. This analysis highlights the immense risk involved in chasing two-division glory.
What do I think is going to happen in the division? Let's talk about it. When I look at, especially the welterweight division, Islam being the champion, who do I think deserves it? Who do I think has earned it? I think Michael Morales for sure has earned it. Beating a guy like Sean Brady, being undefeated, finishing Sean Brady. I mean, what else more do you have to do? But we see the seeds planted. We see Islam planting the seeds of Usman should be the next guy. I mean, obviously they have the same manager. Obviously the manager planting seeds in his head of what he thinks should be. Do I think Usman is an easier matchup for him? Of course. The guy's fought one time in 3 years, and he's 1-3. I'm still ahead of you. Even though I lost my last 2 fights, I'm still 2-2. So you could talk, you could say whatever you want. You turned down a fight. You didn't want to fight. And I don't think it should earn you a title fight when you're saying no to fights. But that's my thing. You can call me a hater. I'm just looking at the division from a different lens, what I think, and who I think has earned it. That's my thoughts on that one. We'll see what happens next with them too. Who will get it? If it is Morales, I do think me and Usman make the most sense. Like I said, I've been wanting that fight, asking for the fight. We'll see if we get the fight.
However,
to underscore Usman's unique threat, Masvidal downplayed other potential welterweight opponents, effectively minimizing them in comparison. He specifically lauded Usman's defensive wrestling skills and overall quality as a complete fighter, portraying this potential fight as one of the hardest tests Makhachev could possibly encounter in his career. This isn't just praise for Usman, it's a strategic analysis that suggests many other 170-pound contenders, while skilled, don't possess the specific tools to trouble Islam Islam in the same way Usman does. Masvidal clearly believes Usman's defensive grappling is elite enough to neutralize Islam's greatest weapon, making him a singularly dangerous matchup. This emphasis on Usman's specific strengths raises questions about how Islam would adapt to a fighter who can nullify his bread and butter.
Islam, Makhachev is going to fight potentially Usman. I like that fight, you know? That's somebody who could wrestle back into Makhachev. That's somebody that I know personally could wrestle back into Makhachev. That's his forte. That's what Usman started with, is his grappling background. And Usman's no pushover in the wrestling. I think he's better on the feet. I think he's bigger, he's longer, he's stronger. He has more experience fighting long fights on his feet as well and using his defensive wrestling, like he did with rat-faced Kobe's bitch ass, you know, or how he did with the other nut freaking Chasma, whatever his name is. You know, he's very good at fighting those guys. I actually thought he beat the 185-pound champion currently, Chasma, on like a 11-day notice. He just got out of the couch from eating whatever the f he was eating, got on a flight, went over there, and beat him 2 out of 3 rounds.
Masvidal continued to build Usman's case, describing him as a complete fighter whose well-rounded skill set presents an unprecedented challenge for Islam. He then raised the stakes even higher, suggesting that the risk involved may be so high with so much to lose that it's genuinely unclear if pursuing this matchup is even wise from a legacy standpoint. This is a profound statement, implying that while victory would be monumental, a loss could significantly tarnish Islam's otherwise pristine record. Masvidal's warning emphasizes the delicate balance between chasing greatness and preserving an undefeated aura. It forces a critical consideration. Is the potential reward of beating Usman worth risking Islam's established legacy as an all-time great lightweight champion? The answer holds immense implications for his career trajectory.
I think this is the most dangerous fight for Makhachev at 170, man, with no doubt about it. You know, that's a big step up in competition, I think, from Jack Magdalena, which is phenomenal on the feet. I still think to this day right now has some of the best hands on the roster, and his wrestling defense isn't bad either. He's a good scrambler and stuff, but he's not on Usman's level in any way with the defensive power wrestlers. You know, Usman could wrestle defensively. I think this is one of the toughest fights for Makhachev right now. You know, I don't know if they're gonna want to take that one.
Masvidal further illustrated Usman's defensive prowess by contrasting it with Jack Della Madalena's skills, who he still believes possesses some of the best hands on the roster, and wrestling defense isn't bad either. However, he emphatically declared that Della Maddalena is not on Usman's level in any way with the defensive power. This comparison highlights the elite tier Usman tease, suggesting his defensive grappling is a league apart. It indicates that while other welterweights might pose threats with striking or scrambling, none can match Usman's ability to thwart takedowns and control the grappling exchanges like he can. This expert analysis from Masvidal reinforces the idea that Usman's defensive wrestling is a unique challenge that Islam has simply not encountered, making the matchup truly compelling.
You already know that it's going to be a hard time for Islam if Hamzat had a difficult time, right, trying to take down Usman. So with that being said, this will be one of the biggest fights that you can make at the welterweight division right now. So what's the hold up? Let's go ahead and run that up. So whoever win that, they can get up out of here. Because this is also my opinion. If Usman wins, right, he's one and done. He said he's moving up to 185 to go get that title against Hamzat for the rematch, right? Cool, bye-bye. If Islam wins, he said he's gonna hold it down for a long time, but I don't believe that. If Islam gets the fight that he wants, which is Usman, right? That means not only did you submit your name at lightweight over your brother Habib, but then you also got, you know, the double champ status, and then you also be the GOAT at in Usman, right? So you just pulled the John Jones. What else is there to do? What else can he do, right? You be foolish to keep fighting, because to me, Islam is not a natural 170 fighter. He's not. And that will get exposed, you know what I'm saying, if he fights a person like myself or Ian Gary or Morales.
Joaquin Buckley offered an incredibly bold and surprising prediction. Islam Makhachev might seriously consider retiring after defeating Kamaru Usman if that fight happens and he wins. This isn't the typical speculation about a fighter's next move. It's a direct assertion that such a victory would fulfill all of Islam's professional ambition. Buckley believes that conquering a legend like Usman in a higher weight class would be the ultimate capstone to an already illustrious career. This theory challenges the conventional expectation that champions fans continue fighting indefinitely, instead suggesting a strategic exit at the absolute peak. It paints a picture of a fighter seeking not just titles, but a complete undeniable legacy, then stepping away before any potential decline. Buckley elaborated on his retirement theory, explaining that a victory over Usman would cement Makhachev's legacy with multiple championship titles and victories over top-ranked fighters across divisions, leaving very little left to achieve or prove at that point. This implies that by becoming a double champion and defeating a welterweight GOAT candidate, Islam would have essentially beaten the game. Buckley suggests that emulating the achievements of his brother Khabib and then surpassing them with a second divisional title would place Islam in an untouchable echelon akin to John Jones. For Buckley, there would literally be nothing else for them to do, making continued fighting a potentially foolish endeavor that could only tarnish his perfect record. Buckley also raised a critical point about Islam Makhachev's physical attributes, noting that his smaller natural size at lightweight could potentially be exposed against certain opponents at welterweight. This isn't about skill, but pure physicality. While Islam dominates at 55 pounds, the natural size and strength of true welterweights could present an entirely different challenge, potentially jeopardizing his perfect record and hard-earned legacy. Buckley highlights that against larger, physically imposing 170-pound fighters, Islam might not enjoy the same physical advantages he's accustomed to. This serves as a stark reminder that even the most skilled technician can be overwhelmed by sheer size and power in a higher weight class, adding an unpredictable dimension to any welterweight aspiration. Further solidifying Usman's formidable presence, Buckley drew a compelling parallel to Khamzat Chimaev's difficulties in taking down Usman, stating, "You already know that it's going to be a hard time for Islam if Ahimsa had a difficult time, right? Trying to take down Usman." This direct comparison leverages Chimaev's reputation as an elite grappler, suggesting that if even Khamzat struggled, Islam would face an immense challenge in imposing his will. It's a powerful argument for Usman's defensive wrestling superiority, implying that his ability to thwart takedowns is truly world-class, capable of stifling even the most aggressive grappling specialist. This point underscores why an Islam-Usman clash is so intriguing. It pits two of the sport's greatest grapplers against each other in a truly unprecedented test of skill and strength. From explosive personal insults to deep tactical analyses, the lightweight and welterweight divisions are a powder keg of potential super fights and career-defining moments. The candid thoughts shared by fighters and legends alike reveal an unprecedented era of challenges, risks, and dramatic legacy building. Every potential matchup carries immense weight capable of rewriting history or exposing vulnerabilities. The unpredictability of combat, where the best doesn't always win, and a single mistake can alter everything, makes these discussions more thrilling than ever. As the dust settles on these revelations, one thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher, and the path to true greatness in the UFC is fraught with peril and exhilarating uncertainty, promising more unforgettable drama